Hello YouTube, thought we'd do a quick video here. Today I'm going to show you how to set up your interface board for your Bridgecom repeater. Now the interface board will let you get Zello, date and time and weather announcements, and repeater ID on your Bridgecom two-way radio repeater. I'm going to have all the information, the links, the software is at my store. I will post the store in the description below. You scroll down here. There's a tab here that says Setup and Help. This is where you'd select to download the software that's needed for that's going to be used in this video. Okay, and under description there will be links for help you set up. Now this video that I'm doing, I am not going to go into in-depth. Like for an example, I'm not going to show you how to get Zello into gateway mode. I already have a video that shows that, but that video link will be at the store. Or how to convert your call sign into Morse code for your repeater ID. Again, I have a video that already shows that, but that link will be at on the store description. Now also, I like to point out, this will work with the models as you can see here on your screen, BCR40U, and the DU, and the BCR50, and the BCR100. Now, the reason why it says etc., because there might be other models out there that use the same accessory plug on the back of the repeater that this board plugs into. If you're not sure, download the manual on one of these models that you see listed here, the owner's manual, and compare the data or the accessory plug pinouts to the model that you have, and if it's identical, then this board will work with your model. Okay, but these are the models I know for sure that will work with it because they're the same type of accessory plug on the back of the repeater. Okay, now this interface board does not use Vox. It's plug and play. It's really simple to set up, and I'm going to show you how to get it up and running. Now you can fine tune this to any of your way you like. What I mean by that is we can have it play messages. We can pre-record our voice to say a message, or if you don't want to use your voice, I have a video on how to convert text into a voice. All those links again will be at the store in the description down by the video links. Okay, so I'll have all those links there, but I'm going to show you in this video how to get this thing up and running. Okay, so what we're going to do here is let me show you what you're going to get when you get your interface board. So let's go to the camera here. And what you're going to get here when you get your interface board is the interface board will not come in any type of enclosure or any type of box. Now, I know what you're thinking, well, I want a box for it. What people have been doing with my interface boards is they've been buying these pencil cases. They're cheap, they're plastic, they're easy to work with. They're soft, you can cut them with a scissors, Dremel tool, and they've been buying these and putting my interface boards in them, which works great, okay? So if you want to do that, you'll have to purchase that separately. But the interface board will come with plastic standoffs, and you'll have to screw them on. They go in the corner, and that way they're plastic, so you can cut these standoffs to any length you want. Okay, so it will come with that. It does come with a wall where it needs to be plugged in, and obviously the cable that's got to be plugged into the accessory port in the back of the repeater. Make sure the repeater power is turned off before you plug that in. And then there's two cables that got to get plugged into the USB sound card, and I will explain that here in a minute. Okay, so but this interface board also has built-in test capabilities. What I mean by that is you notice now I'm only plugging in the power supply for the interface board. No other cables are hooked up. There's no cable hooked up to the repeater. We don't need to. We're going to plug this into power. I'm going to turn off the light here so you can see this. The interface board has self-checking capabilities. So there's 3 switches on the board here. They're marked, you probably can't see it in the video, but one is marked TX test, and the other one's marked RX test. Now, let's do the RX test first. When you flip that switch, the green light should come on. Make sure you turn it off. When you do the TX test, you flip that switch. Red light should come on. Flip that off. That just tested 90% of the board before I even did anything. So we're looking good. So that's what those switches for. The third switch is called Zello. And what that switch is for, if you do not want your date and time and weather announcements to play over Zello, but you want it to play over your repeater only, you flip that switch. Flip it to off. It comes from me on the on position. Okay? So that's what that third switch is for. Now, the next thing you got to buy separately that does not come with this board is going to be USB to DB9 cable and a USB sound card. I do have links on my store where you can purchase these off of eBay. They are cheap, but you're going to need that, and you're going to need some type of computer, whether it's a laptop, desktop, mini PC, Raspberry Pi, whatever you're going to do, you're going to need a computer to hook this up to, okay? So now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to hook this up. Like I said earlier, the interface board's got two cables coming off that we got to plug into the USB sound card. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. It's really simple. It's not hard at all. The cables are marked. You probably can't see that in the video, but they are marked. The USB sound card has got a symbol of a headphone and a symbol of a microphone. You take your microphone in cable coming from the interface board, microphone in, that gets plugged into the headphone jack or headphone symbol on the USB sound card. And then obviously the other cable, which is speaker out, gets plugged into the microphone in on the USB sound card. And then we plug this USB sound card in the computer, and then we got to make note when it pops up what number this USB sound card, because we got to set our sound to that. And I'll show you that here in a minute. Okay? Now, I can't plug this in during this video because it will mess up the microphone that I'm using to make this video. So we're going to kind of pretend that I plugged this in. Okay? So that's how you set up the interface board with this. Now, I got to show you how to set up the repeater for the interface board. So I'm going to put you on pause, and I will be right back. Okay, now we're back. Now, as you can tell, I'm in front of the repeater here. Now, we're going to need to turn the volume up, and we need to turn off the internal speaker. Remember, the Bridgecom's got a built-in speaker. You can kind of see it over here. So we're going to turn this repeater on. Now, I already plugged in my board, my cable in the back of the repeater. We're going to turn this on. Now, let me turn off the light. You probably can't. The glare may not. Let's hope we can see. Well, that helps. Yeah, looks like you should be able to see that. Notice when you turn it on, there is a musical note symbol. We don't want the volume going over the built-in speaker. At least I didn't want it. And I'm sure you don't want it all the time either. So we're going to turn that off. And to turn it off, you hit the monitor button, and that turns off the musical note. Of course, you know, you had Bob in the way there. Let me move this so you can see it better. Hopefully it refocuses. And it's not going to refocus, of course. So what we're going to do, now we need to adjust the volume. There's a bars. I don't know if you can see that. There it goes. There's bars. See how if I turn it down, the bars go lower? We want the volume all the way up. We want the musical note to be off, so the built-in internal speaker is not, you won't hear it in the, over the Bridgecom. If you want to, you can quickly hit it quick and then listen to. Now, this is only going to be the repeater sound, not Zello. You won't hear Zello over this, okay? Just the repeater. So another thing too I want to mention, and you might be asking, well, can you use the built-in repeater ID function that Bridgecom has? Yes, you can, but that will not play over Zello, which is not a big deal. You're not required to play that over Zello. What I've done, and me and Mark been playing with this, when you do that, if you want to do that, the Bridgecom programming software has a separate volume level for that repeater ID. Turn that down. Because what will happen is people on Zello do not know when your repeater ID is going off because it cannot play over Zello. So you turn that volume down, and if someone keys up Zello, they can talk over it. That's what I've been doing, and it seems to be working just fine. So yes, you can use the built-in repeater ID if you choose to do it that way. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Like I said, make sure you hit that monitor button so the musical note is off. See, it's on now. You want it off. Then make sure that volume, you can see the bars, they're all the way up. Make sure that volume is all the way up. Okay? So now we're ready to go ahead and set up the computer software of it. So I'm going to put you on pause. I'll be right back, and we'll get to the computer part of this. Okay, now we're back to the computer now. I plugged in my USB to DB9 adapter. You didn't see me do that, but I did that. Now this computer, I did not need to install the driver for that. But I do have the driver on my store under the software tab. So once you plug in your USB DB9, we got to figure out what COM port it is. We're going to go to search. We're going to type in device manager. And we're going to call up device manager. And then we're going to go to, if yours is like this, you're going to hit the expand button. And then you're going to go to ports. And then in my case, it's going to be COM port 6 is my USB cable. Now you're probably wondering, well, why do I have two of them? Because I have another COM port that I use for something else. So disregard that. So it's just going to be the USB serial port here, number 6. So make a note of that, that number 6 is the number that you want. So now what we're going to do is, remember I said when you plug in your USB sound card, we want to make sure the computer is set to that. So we're going to go to the speaker here, and you're going to make sure you select your USB sound card. In my case, we're going to pretend this is it. Remember, I cannot plug one in because then it will interfere with this video. So we're going to say mine is going to be USB number 6. So make sure you select yours accordingly. Now we're going to run the software for the COM port sharing because I want to run date, time, weather announcements, and Zello at the same time. So we're going to go to COM port tools here. Now I want to mention something about this COM port sharing software. The software is free to a certain point. After 14 days, they want you obviously to pay. Now if you continue using it after 14 days, which you still can, if you reboot your computer, you're going to need to redo this step that I'm going to be showing you now. That's the only drawback after the 14 days up. Not a big deal. It's very simple. You'll see what I mean here in a minute. So in my case, my 14 days are up. We're going to hit continue with limited features. And it may pop up with another window after I do this. So now we're going to go to shared ports. We're going to select this. And since mine was COM port 6, we're going to select 6. We're going to hit create. And here's the other window. It says, again, my 14 days is up. It's going to make a non-permanent, meaning if I reboot the computer or the computer shuts off and restarts, you're going to have to redo this step. You're going to hit create. We're going to hit OK. Now, what it's going to do here is it's going to reassign, in my case, COM port 6 to COM port 1. So all the software I want to use with this repeater is going to be COM port 1. Okay? So we're going to close this. Now, the date and time and weather announcements, we're going to start that up first. When you do this, you may hear the relay click on the interface board. That's normal. Don't worry about it. We're going to go to COM port. We're going to select 1, and then we're going to make sure we only have these first 2 boxes checked and the last one checked. Okay? Now, this is the software where you can enable weather announcements. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this video. There will be a link on my store that tells you how to do this. This software also lets you play a message if you want to pre-record your voice, or if you want to use someone else's voice, or if you don't want to do that and you want to use a computer generated voice. I also have a video on how to, it's a free program, how to convert text to a voice. I have it so it does play a message. You can have it play a message in the beginning under header. You check that box, you hit browse, you select your WAV file, and then you have a message before it plays. Now, you can have it wait a second before it plays the date, time, and weather. Or you can have it wait 2 seconds. Whatever you want to do, you can adjust that. Or if you want to play a message after it's done with the weather data or done with the time, you can check the goodbye and then hit browse and then select your WAV file. So this software can do that. This software can also go to quiet time, so it will not play at certain hours. So if you don't want it playing after a certain time, you can go to File, Time Range Announcements, Start Hour, and End Hour. Okay, you can play with that, and it won't play it during certain times. Okay, so now we have this set up. If you want this program to start when Windows start, you can check that box. You can check it to minimize when Windows start up. Now for Zello, I'm not going to show you how in this video how to get into gateway mode. I will post that link at the store forum, or the store site. I shouldn't say forum, but store. So I will post it there. Now we're going to set up Zello, and this is, I'm not going to show you how to create a channel for, you know, there's a lot of videos on doing that, how to create a Zello channel for your repeaters to link to. But we're going to go to Tools, we're going to go to Options, we're going to go to Radio, we're going to go to COM port 1, we're going to make sure RTS is set high. And then another tab here, we're going to go to COM port 1, make sure DSR is set high. And then we're going to go to audio, and we're going to select, I can't do this now because I don't want it to interrupt my video, but we're going to select the USB sound card that we used. And let me turn this off. You probably can't hear it, but it's playing my message. But we're going to select the USB sound card that we're using. And then we're going to set this to 50. And then we're going to save the microphone. We're going to set this to 50. I cannot set it to 50 now because it's going to reduce my volume that I'm using to make this video. So I cannot, but make sure you set it to 50 here also. Do not check that. Make sure this is all set to 0 and no noise limitations set there whatsoever. This is how you set up your Zello, okay? And again, this is just starting points for volume. You can play with this, but this sounds to be the best settings that we've been using. And again, I thank Mark for me using his repeater. Him and I have been talking on this daily. We've been testing this. It's been working great. Everything works exactly the way it should. Now, if you want to use, let's see if I can do this. I'm running a lot of programs right now. My computer may not like this. Matter of fact, let me pause the video. Let me get all these up. This way I don't have to have you guys wait. I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm back. Now, as you can see, I do have the simplex software running because I want to run repeater ID. I don't want to use the built-in repeater ID in the Bridgecom, but I am going to run it like this. Now, all you got to do, it's pretty simple. Again, I'll post the link on my store, how to convert your call sign into Morse code. Once you convert it, you can adjust that volume on that also. So you can make the volume on your WAV file much lower so it's not as loud. Again, I'll post all those links, and you can fine tune this. That's what me and Mark have been doing. We've been fine tuning this. We got this thing working really good. So, but for an example, what we did here is I went to, you go to configurations. Actually, let's go to COM ports. We got to set this to do COM port 1. Then we're going to go to COM port PTT configurations. Now, if you want the repeater ID to play over Zello, this is the purpose of running the software and not using the built-in Bridgecom repeater ID. If you want to play over Zello, you click this one up here. PTT equals DTR RTS. If you don't want it to play over Zello and you just want it to play over the airwaves, you click this one. Okay? So what I did is that I made my WAV file volume lower. Okay? And I'll post a link on how to do that. It's really simple. I did a video about it not that long ago. So when my repeater ID goes off over my airwaves only, because I selected PTT equals RTS, the volume is lower. I don't have to adjust the volume of the computer, just the volume on that WAV file is lower. So if somebody was to key up Zello, they can still talk over it. That's how we've been doing this. What I mean by we, me and Mark. Thanks again, Mark, from a user Bridgecom repeater. So this is how I've been running this setup, and I've been talking with him now for, I don't know, at least a month on the Bridgecom. And this is how I have it. Now, there's also a separate volume that on the date and time and weather announcements you can adjust here that does not affect the main computer volume. That's the beauty of this. So we can turn this down. Matter of fact, I run it about here. It's what we kind of liked. I run it about 3 clicks from the bottom. But again, it's all preference. It just depends how you want to do this. Now, there's a lot of functions you can do here, and I'm not going to get into all the details because I don't want this video to be, get too long. But this should give you a good starting point on how to get your Bridgecom on Zello, get all the functions up and running. Once you get up and running, you can fine tune it. You can have it play messages. You can have it do, quiet time for the weather announcements, or quiet time for the repeater or the date and time announcements. You can have it do all kinds of stuff. Now, the weather part of this, like I said, I'll post the link in the store on how to enable the weather announcements along with the date and time. But you can change that. You can have it not even announce the date and time if you don't want to by unchecking these boxes. It's whatever you want to do. So this should get you up and running. If you have any questions, you can email me directly. I'll post the email link down below. Any comments or anything, post them down below. Please subscribe. Thank you, and have a good day.